ready? You ready? All right. So Brian is a senior front-end developer at IFC and an all-around wonderful guy. Give it up for Brian.
Hello, everyone. Can I get a show of hands from those of you who have had a dream or a goal that you set out maybe in the last few years, but didn't quite follow through with it because you got hit with the procrastination bug? Yeah. I see a lot of hands, almost every hand. I've been there too, so don't worry about, no shame in that. But in the last 2 years, I really wanted to get serious about, what I wanted to do with my life. And I thought about, when I'm sitting on my deathbed, do I want to look back on my life and just, I spent all that free time just watching TV shows and scrolling through different social media feeds? And the answer was obviously no. Like, I wanted to, leave a legacy behind that helped the community and really help kind of improve the world and leave it a better place than where I left it. So what I did is I got serious about my goals, and it started with creating an app company called Zippler. And what we did is we actually told wait times to different establishments, bars, restaurants, TSA wait times at airports, and it became a very useful tool for society. Secondly, as Ali mentioned, I really wanted to become a senior front-end developer. But I did go to school for graphic design, so in order to get there, I had to make sacrifices, take courses in my free time in order to achieve that. And so I did is I created an account on Team Treehouse, and I taught myself all kinds of different programming techniques. And as you mentioned, I became a senior front-end developer at ICF. I'm also in the process of working on my debut album for music. I've been performing in bars since I was 14, but those were covers. So I'm excited to write some music and play them for you guys. So, I also am in the process of starting my first clothing company. I'm in the process of talking with manufacturers and getting samples, so look for that in the summer of 2020. And lastly, as I mentioned, community, I really want to think about how I can give back. So it wasn't always like this for me, though. When I first moved to the city, the first year or two, I really just took in the nightlife and the partying, and as I mentioned, the social media, Netflix, Game of Thrones. I've never seen it, but I know a lot of you have, so I thought I'd throw that in there. You guys really get caught up in that. And then, of course, the video games. And I really think that all these things right here really are the key to the procrastination. It prevents us from achieving those goals and dreams that I mentioned coming up here. And so I really want to enforce how we really need to focus on minimizing our usage to this. And there are ways we can, when we log on, to use it effectively. And so I actually transferred from Western Illinois to the Art Institute of Chicago. And it was a really different experience. And because the professors at the Art Institute would always tell us to always ask ourselves, what if we ever felt stuck or challenged? And what that meant is, like, for example, we'd have to create a logo. And we came up with 10 ideas, and they said, well, what if you did this, or took this different approach to the logo? So then, before we know it, we had 40, 50 different iterations, and the 45th one was the best one. So people ask how I have achieved these goals that I have already. And the big thing that I did to start was I bought a whiteboard and I put it up on my bedroom wall. And so every day, or every night before I go to bed, write the goals for the next day. And that really helped keep me to stick to them, because I'd be sitting at my desk and there's the whiteboard right in front of my face staring at me all day. And so I wanted to make sure I could get that cleared before I go to bed. I also use a tool called MeisterTask, which is great when you do set out those goals, more larger from a daily base, but more on a project base. It's free, and it's one of the best tools I've used to manage your home projects. And then, of course, time management. People are like, well, I don't have enough time. I have a full-time job and work out and all that. Well, what I did is, a lot of us work 9 to 5, like I do. And so when I get done at 5, I have 6, 7 hours before I go to bed. So that gives me an hour block to focus on each of these items. And so through doing this, I felt so empowered. And it was one of the best feelings ever, you know, releasing that app and becoming a senior front-end developer and starting the album and the clothing line. And so I want to leave you guys asking, you know, what are your goals and dreams, and what legacy are you going to leave behind? So, thank you very much.
Keep it going, Brian. All right. So, anyone have a dream journal?